Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to our new episode. And today we are talking about some really fun, spiritual, exciting topics all about past lives, reincarnation, past life regression, which is where you can see into your past lives and remember some stuff. And if you're new to the show, my name is Kelsey Aida. I'm an inspirational blogger and author, and my whole thing is to help people own their power and win at life. So I teach a lot about spiritual stuff, personal development stuff, anything that's going to help you to enjoy your experience a little bit more while you're here. And Miss Lynnsey Robinson is a certified hypnotherapist, and one of her specialties is helping people experience what they have been through in some of their past lives and learn a little bit about their history and their karma and reincarnation and stuff like that. So Lynnsey, tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get into this work, past life stuff?
Okay, so this is actually the reason I started doing hypnosis in the first place. I thought when I was 20-something, 26, 27, that I could just get, what I needed to get in order to do past life regressions. When I called the institute that I wanted to study at, who was like the best in the nation in California, definitely, they said, well, we don't really just do past life certifications. You have to have the training in order to be able to know, what to expect. And at the time it was kind of like, oh, well, crap. Okay. So I went and did the whole training, but now I'm so glad I did, because I would never have known like what to do if something were to what to do in every single scenario and every, case that could happen, all the possibilities. So I'm glad that I did that. But what made me make the call and dial the number was past life. I want to do past life. I want to only do past life. And it's still something that's so close to home for me, because it's just so stinking fascinating. Like, it's just, I can't get enough of it. The idea that you can go and explore past memories and learn more about yourself on a soul level is just amazing. It's so fun.
So can you explain to people exactly what past life regression is for anyone who doesn't know?
Well, for anybody that doesn't know, past life regression or past life exploration, when it comes to the technique, is the idea that you could have lived another life here on Earth or maybe somewhere else. Not on Earth, that's a whole other topic. And you get to access those memories in the subconscious mind. So, or rather, the subconscious helps you access that big, giant, universal memory bank that holds everyone's experiences and memories and things like that, and reach into there and find out more about yours and get any information that, you might want more of. But it's the idea that there's, it's possible you could have lived another life as your soul. And then we're going to kind of try to stay on one track with past lives today, but every time something comes up, like when I talk about past lives, then I talk about, okay, well, then there's also parallel lives. There's also living multiple lives at once. There's also future lives and life between lives. So maybe we'll do another show just on all the extra fringe stuff, but we'll try to stay on track with this past life stuff. It's just the idea that in the past you could have lived as somebody else or another identity that still is your soul in a different body, experiencing different things in a certain time period that is before now.
Yeah, so essentially we're talking about reincarnation. Lynnsey and I obviously both believe in reincarnation, and we've come to the conclusion, at least in this lifetime, that we probably have experienced many, many lifetimes in order to grow your soul, in order to learn lessons. I feel like we just keep coming back and back and back because we can't get enough of the human experience, which is kind of hilarious, because when we're here in this human experience, we're like, oh my God, this is so hard. Like, what the fuck? Like, why am I here? What's the purpose of this? What's my purpose? When really maybe it's just as simple as coming to have a good time, coming to learn some stuff, coming to reunite with some soulmates, and not just romantic ones. Like, soulmate can be anyone who, like, before you guys reincarnated, when you're in between lives, you're like, hey, so this time, like, you're going to be the husband, I'm going to be the wife, or this time you're going to be the daughter, I'm going to be the mom, and this is how we're going to connect with each other and help each other and teach each other. So I definitely know in the future we have to do another podcast episode about soulmates and twin flames and all that jazz. But let's just not go there today because that's too much for 1 hour. Like you said, we're going to divert a lot.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of side points and side conversations, I think, about this stuff. But, the main point is that if you can get on board with the idea that you may have lived a life before this one, then you definitely should keep listening. And if you 100% don't believe in it, you definitely can keep listening because it might open your mind a little bit to a new perspective or broaden your horizons in a way. But it's a fun topic that's, I don't know how divisive it is because I only talk to people. I only like open up and discuss this with people that I already know are welcoming to it. And that's another point too, is if I'm working with a client, it's one of those things you just don't bring up. Like I just don't, because I don't, unless I know them well enough to know their religious beliefs or that it's not going to completely freak them out, because it's not about, even if I think it would help them, it's not about me, it's about them. And if I don't feel like they're going to get on board with it, or if it's just too much for them, it just doesn't come up. But for those that I do work with that say, I was thinking about a past life, or I was talking to somebody and they said I should do a past life, my ears go, what? Okay, let's try it. If you want to. But it's definitely a sensitive thing, because especially when, religion gets involved, it kind of steps on toes, and it doesn't always, it doesn't jive with people. Exactly. It doesn't always jive with people. So if you're on board, great, let's go. We're going to have a lot of fun with this conversation. If you're not on board, stick around. You might change your mind, or you might just get an idea of what the possibilities could be. It's just fun. It's fun to think about.
Yeah. And either way is totally fine. Like, we're not trying to make you believe in reincarnation. Like, we have nothing to gain by changing your beliefs, like only you have stuff to gain from maybe broadening your perspective or trying on different perspectives or being open to new ones, because that's how we become more conscious and evolve. Like, how many perspectives can you hold on to at once? Like, if somebody tells me, oh, I don't believe in reincarnation, I think this is our only life, like, I can value that perspective and be like, wow, that's really cool. That is your experience, like, we're not God. Like, we don't know the truth of everything. We don't have everything figured out, but we do like to contemplate these things and talk about them and explore the possibilities. And we both believe in it. So here we are talking about it on a radio show.
So that kind of flows into why, the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is why people consider it ever. Like, why is it even a thing people would want to do? Well, I mean, for the listeners, they might already have a reason in their head why they might want to figure it out. But sometimes it's just plain curiosity. They just want to know. Other times people will have questions about a certain person in their life. Have we ever been, why are we so close? Or why did this happen between us? And they think of a past life, or rather they think that a past life regression will help them understand a relationship better. Fears, phobias, that's a huge one. People that might be afraid of something but can't really explain why, or really want to be released from this huge fear that's stopping them in life. That's a reason.
Yes. I feel like that's such a real thing, because I've always been afraid of the ocean, and I never really had like a good reason to be afraid of the ocean. Like, I couldn't think of any like childhood trauma, like nothing really bad happened to me. I've just always been like a slightly terrified of it. Yeah. And I think it's like one thing to have a healthy respect and just like value the ocean and its magnificence and its power. But it's another thing to like not go in when you live in San Diego.
I mean, we've never explored the entirety of the ocean. That's a valid reason to be afraid of something.
Well, that's true. Know. I do have some other reasons to be afraid. But so I asked my friend about it, my friend James, who's like one of the most psychic people I know. And a lot of psychics have access to the Akashic records, and they can tell you about your past lives really easily. Like, you don't have to do a past life regression where you remember. They can access the information for you. And so he's told me about a few of my past lives, and he confirmed that in one of my past lives, I actually drowned in the ocean, and I did flatline, but I didn't die. Like, someone resuscitated me and brought me back to life. But when I came back to life, like, I was alone. Like, it was a really lonely, scary experience. Like, technically I did die for like a second and come back. And it was just like isolating and lonely, and like nobody was there for me. And it was just like, the whole thing was just
holy crap. I'm having flashbacks of your past life that I did with you.
Yeah,
There's a
which
lot of
that's another
trends.
story
There's
that
some
we'll go
themes.
into.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about our own experiences with past lives too. And mine is a freaking doozy. Like I still can't get over how crazy it is. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. So there's a lot of reasons to do a past life. There's a lot of reasons that make you think about, doing it. One of the games I always like to play with people is not with people, but with people is like, just think of, if you could live in any time period, which one would it be? And they'll always have an answer. Or if you could live anywhere in the world that isn't here, where would it be? And there's always places. And I'll also get people that say, well, I just like this time period because blah, blah is my favorite movie. And I'll say, okay, well, maybe that movie is your favorite movie because you resonate with it, because your soul remembers it on some level. It's funny when you flip it like that. Like I always wanted to be on the Titanic. Knowing what happens, like I always feel, I know, trust me, I know. So
oh my gosh.
I know. But I always feel like I feel like I resonate with it. I don't know why. And what's funny about the Titanic is it sank on my birthday in this life. Like my birthday is April 15th and it sank on my birthday. It's so weird. And I didn't know that until, once I made that connection, I was like, oh my God, I was on the Titanic.
How hilarious would it be if you did die on the Titanic and then you were like, I'm going to come back on the same day, bitches.
On that day.
I'm back.
Yeah. It's just, but Titanic was a big movie. It was big for a lot of people. I don't know. You're 25, so I don't know if you remember that movie, but
of course, I'm a hopeless romantic. I've seen all the movies.
Yes, all the movies.
So, okay, I have more questions now because you're basically the expert. So I'm going to be interviewing you a lot on this topic today. I have my own experiences, obviously, but you're the one who facilitates this for people. So what are some common concerns that come up with past life regression? Because I know people will probably feel a little scared of it because it's new or they don't know what to think of it really. So can you dismiss some of the most common concerns that you get about doing past life regression?
Well, the concerns that I usually get for past life regression therapy are the same or very similar to the ones I get just for hypnosis in general. It's like, can I get stuck? Will I be unconscious? Can I lose control? And none of those things are true. You can't get stuck in hypnosis just like you can't get stuck asleep. You just can't. You're not freaking Rumpelstiltskin. What's his name? The guy, Rip Van Winkle, not Rumpelstiltskin. Rip Van Winkle, he slept for years and years and woke up an old man. And I don't know why, but people seem to think they can get stuck in hypnosis like that, where they'll just or at least get stuck in the altered state, which, it's so funny how afraid people are to get stuck in hypnosis when you have anxiety. That's kind of a form of being stuck in fight or flight, which is the path leading to hypnosis. So one of the best ways to treat anxiety with hypnosis is to take them deeper than they already are. Because if you're like, it's what do they call it? Walking hypnosis, where you're just in an altered state all the time, in a negative way. So hypnosis can actually benefit that if you have anxiety or if you're stuck in that fight or flight. It's not a fun place to be. There's no way that I know of that anyone can get stuck in that hypnosis state.
Well, to me, in my experience with hypnosis, because to me, hypnosis always just feels like a guided meditation, like a very mild, very calming, very relaxing. So if anything, I feel like I would just fall asleep because I'm so relaxed, and then I'll just wake up later.
Exactly. And that's
I always do.
What would happen. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what would happen. I do that all the time. I'm the worst. I'm so bad at doing, well, no, I'm not going to affirm that, but I would love to get better meditating because I always fall asleep. I'm always so uncomfortable when I meditate because my back hurts or something. And then I'll recline and I'll just get comfortable. And then it's too comfortable where I just fall asleep. But no, so yeah, they feel like they're getting, that they might get stuck in hypnosis, not possible. Or that they'll get stuck in the past life, also not possible because, especially if you're working with someone, they know the ways to bring you out and they know what to look for. And that's why you need to find somebody that's extra trained. But even if you do it on your own with a good, guided hypnosis audio or something, you'll be fine. There's really zero danger in doing it.
Cool. Do you think that people can be traumatized if they see something that they don't like?
Ooh, you asked this one for a reason.
Yeah. Well, I've been in one of my
I
past
know.
lives and I was like slightly disturbed. I wasn't traumatized, but I was like,
Right.
oh.
Well, but here's the thing. Why weren't you traumatized? Because if you're experiencing it, like really experiencing it, it's enough to be traumatizing. But the difference is you're so detached when you're in the experience. It's almost like you're observing it, right? It's almost like you're watching it happen. You're
Yeah,
not,
when it happened to me, when we were doing our session, I felt like I was watching a movie of
yeah,
myself. Well, that version of myself, which is different from now, but same soul, different
yeah,
body, different life, different time period. But yeah, it wasn't like scary or threatening in any way because I
yes.
was watching it from like a third party perspective.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought that up too, because that is actually another fear that people have is like, what if it's too much? What if it's like too negative or too painful? And the truth is you have all of the power when you're doing this experience. So you have the ability to hover above, walk beside the events as they're happening, be in the body. Most people decide to be in the body because they realize when they get into the state, oh, this is cool. This is not anything to be afraid of at all. And even when you're in the body, you're still so much detached. It's like watching it happen. It's like you do feel like yourself, but you also feel like someone else. So it's so like really, it's really bizarre, but it's really, really cool.
Yes. What else did I want to ask you? Because there's so many questions. Are there any other misconceptions that we need to get out of the way before we kind of dive into this, or do you think we covered it all?
I mean, it's hard. I think about this all the time. I should have thought about it more today, but it's hard knowing what I know about it to try to imagine what somebody might misconstrue it as.
Yeah,
But
because
I
it's
think
normal to you.
it's so totally normal to me, but I think that I think we've covered most of them. And if we
Cool.
haven't, someone's going to email us and tell me. I
Yeah,
hope.
so we have a couple more questions that people did write into us on social media or email or whatever. So I wanted to address those real quick, and then we can share some of our stories about our past lives and fun stuff like that. So the first one was, can I get stuck in a past life? Which you already addressed, which is no, you don't get stuck in hypnosis, any type of
Not
hypnosis.
even a little.
Not even a little, so you're totally safe. If I have past life karma, can it affect me in this lifetime? So I summarized this question, but basically they were asking like they said that a psychic had told them that in their past life, something had happened that's now affecting them in this lifetime. So basically they were asking, is this really possible? And if it is affecting me in this lifetime, what can I do so it doesn't affect me anymore?
Okay, so I thought I had the perfect answer to this. I really did, but in the last 5 seconds, my answer changed a little bit. But it's still getting the basic point across, which is sure, yes. Sometimes karma can travel over. Well, karma is relative too. Like, what does that mean, karma? Some people believe in karma, some people don't believe in karma. I'm going to refer to it as connections to past lives. Okay, so that could show up as recurring the same relationship patterns again and again because of an event that happened in a past life. It could also include, like we said, something you're afraid of or something that you are nervous about in this life without any kind of origin could be a tie or a connection to a past life, something that happened in the past life. Some people are born with freaking birthmarks on their body because of entrance wounds from a past life.
Whoa.
Like dude, it's freaking bonkers, but it's so, so cool. So they'll be born with like entry wounds and exit wounds and things that cause their fatalities in past life. Read about it. I'm telling you, it is so cool. I have so many books. It's awesome. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, things can happen, and I'm not going to pretend to have all the answers. Like, I want to say, sure, your soul probably chose to have some of that stuff carry over because it had more lessons to learn and it wanted to continue the lesson learning in this life, that it started in that life, because it's all about learning lessons. But I just don't know. I don't have all the answers. But yeah, I would say that I've experienced it. Probably some people listening have experienced the idea that like, well, I don't know where this came from. Maybe it's a past life thing. And it probably is, because nobody knows better than you. And if you have this inkling of a thought that maybe there's a past life tie, I mean, you're the authority. You probably do have something if it's a feeling, like that. But that's something that we can work on definitely with hypnosis.
Yeah, I feel like the feeling that makes people the most like inclined to think that they've lived past lives is when they recognize soulmate
Yes.
connections. When you look someone in the eyes and you have that feeling like, man, why am I so connected to this person? Like
Yeah.
we just met. I feel like I've known them forever. Like you probably have known them forever, and you probably have
Mm-hmm.
reincarnated a bunch of different times and played a bunch of different roles to each other and for each other. And that feeling in your intuition in your gut, it's not it's not fake, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
and usually looking into the eyes of the person is like how you can tell, which is so, oh my gosh, it gives me goosebumps when I think about it. Cause I
Because when
just
we did
remember,
that, because I
yeah,
did
I
that.
remember when I did my past life regression session with Lynnsey, and one of my exes was in my past life, but I didn't realize it until I was remembering the past life. And then she guided me through this meditation process, and she was like, look into the eyes of this person who you suspect might be your ex, and then you'll be able to tell if it is him or not. And as soon as I
But I
looked,
did not. Okay, let me just clear the air. I did not say it in those words because I
yeah,
never ever lead.
she didn't
Never lead.
imply that it
No, I
was
just
my
said,
ex.
does this look like what I said was? I can remember exactly because
Okay,
I say it
tell
every
him.
single time. Is I say, I don't want people being like that. I lead them anywhere. But what I do say is, um, does anyone around you feel like somebody that might be in this life? And then if the client is unsure, and I think you were in this experience, I say sometimes it helps to look into their eyes and then you can recognize their soul. Boom, that's what I said. Keep going. I'm listening.
Okay, yeah, thanks for clarifying that so I don't butcher it. So yeah, she told me to look into the person's eyes, who I suspected that I might know. And as soon as I did, I started crying because I realized that this was a soulmate who has also been in this lifetime for me. And it was like really overwhelming experience, but also really beautiful and really just confirming. And if you know the whole story, which we can go into the story of this lifetime, it was like crazy. It just made me feel really like just loved by this person, and love that they would keep coming back and keep supporting me in all these different lifetimes. And I felt like so appreciative in that moment. And that was like one of my best takeaways, I think, from the whole experience, because it just made me feel like really fulfilled. Like, man, these connections never
Yeah.
die, you know?
It's so powerful. It's like the best way I can describe it is like if you have a dream where you know somebody is who they are, but they don't look like the person they're supposed to be. So you know in your dream that it is them, but they look different. That's exactly the feeling you have in the past life. It's like, I know what your soul looks like. I can see your soul, but your packaging just looks different. Like I know who you are. So it's very powerful. Sometimes you have that in conscious, awake life. Sometimes you'll have a spontaneous regression just while you're awake. I've had moments before where I'm completely transported to another time and space just for a split second, but it feels like forever. And you're just like, oh my gosh, what the heck was that? And I just kind of smile to myself because I know that like, okay, well, that was a little wink from the past. That's kind of cool. And these are very universal experiences.
Remember,
Oh,
I was
really?
telling you on the phone with my twin flame, like I was watching him cook in the kitchen in this lifetime, in real time, like recently.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching him cook, and all of a sudden I imagined, and this is how I get like my psychic downloads, through my imagination. So I'll see it visually, and I saw on top of his head like a laurel wreath. I think that's what they're called, like one of those little like crowns made of like not flowers, but like olive branches or whatever they used to use.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, whoa. And then I kind of questioned it, like, where's this coming from? And I got this whole image of this whole past
Yep.
life where we were together and we had this forbidden love. And he was like this athlete, and he wasn't like good enough for me according to my family because he was only an athlete and not like some scholar.
So
or
many details.
I got so many details just from this like 5 seconds of like going into it. And then I like Googled like the type of people who wore those like things around their head. And it was like athletes, like people who had won like tournaments or whatever, and different types of people. And I was like, oh my God, like you were this athlete. I was like this, I don't know, daughter who was all controlled by her family, and we had to like meet in secret and all this stuff. And I was like, this sounds very twin flame-ish. So yeah, I think that's all very true.
Yeah. And the one thing that comes to mind right now, because we sound like crazy people to people that aren't like on the same wavelength as us. So I want to address that real quick for the people that are thinking like, this is ridiculous. This is so not real. how can this be real? Here's my answer, because I'll get people ask me all the time, like, did I really go to another past life, or did I just make it all up? And my answer is, well, I will always believe that, yes, you did go to an altered space, because that's just how powerful our minds are. It just is. But on the flip side, who freaking cares? If you walk out of my office feeling like you can go in the ocean when before you couldn't, or maybe you're breaking these ties to past relationship, cycles that you keep repeating and repeating and you can't figure out why, if it helps you, who freaking cares? It's just enjoy the benefits. Like, there's no doubt about the fact that this therapy and this technique helps people. It helps them, whether it's just gaining more insight to why you behave the way you do, or creating soul connections that you knew were there, but now they're even stronger because you remember these people from past lives. Whatever it is, it's all good. It's all high vibe. It's all good. And it's all for the betterment of that person walking into my office. So that's my answer to whether or not it's real. I
like that answer, because then either way, it's like, it's helping you. So why do you care? Mm-hmm. Like how important is it? It's not, from one perspective, important at all. It's just for fun. From another perspective, it could be like life or death, because you're exploring these things that happen to you and like whatever. Also, I wanted to say that for me, as someone who came into their psychic abilities like later in life and is coming into them, when I first started receiving a lot of psychic downloads and information, it always felt like I was making it up. Mm-hmm. But it was real. And I had experiences that proved it was real, because I would get hits from people who had passed, and I would tell this to people who were here, and they would confirm, yes, my dad used to wear red bandanas, or whatever I would see in my imagination. So it comes in and it feels like you're making it up, but oftentimes you're not making it up, and there's a lot of truth to it. And your imagination is just the mechanism that the psychic information can come through.
Yeah. That's the perfect place to stop. So when we come back, you guys, I'm going to do a very quick, past life exploration hypnosis guided audio for you. So get out of the car, stop driving if you're driving, get somewhere comfortable. And we'll do a quick little exploration. This will be fun. We'll see you guys on the other side of the break.
You are listening to HighVibin It with Kelsey Aida and Lynnsey Robinson. Check into the show today by calling into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or send an email to hi.vibin.it.show@gmail.com. That's hi.vibin.it.show@gmail.com. Now, back to the show.
Hey everybody, we are back, and I'm really excited because Miss Lynnsey Robinson here is going to do basically a little miniature past life regression session. So whatever you're doing, if you can stop, that would be great. If you're driving, do not do this because you'll be entering into a state of hypnosis, and you don't want to do that while you're driving. So we're going to take a few minutes to do this, see if anything comes up. And if it does, we want you guys to share your experiences with us on social media using the hashtag HighVibin It. No G on the Vibin, just ends in N, HighVibin It. So let's get started.
Okay. So once again, if you are not anywhere you can get relaxed, or just sit comfortably with your eyes closed, just, turn the volume down or something, or, listen later. This will be on all the podcast streaming services. This one is live. So if you're doing any of that, just stop. So we're going to just do a quick kind of relaxation. We're going to get some relaxation to the body and see what comes up as far as past lives. So we're just going to start by getting comfortable, settling in, allowing the eyes to close whenever you're ready. And just take some deep breaths just to settle the mind, settle the body, settle the emotions. And I'd like you to just see if you can visualize or imagine a big, bright, white light of universal energy coming in through, down from the universe and through your head, top of the head, And as it touches every tiny space in the body, just allow it to settle in even more, relaxing, bringing in comfort into the neck and shoulders, into the chest, upper arms, as you continue to breathe the clean air, into the elbows, forearms, belly, and hips. And just visualize this bright white light of universal energy connecting you to all that is. Pressing pause on the day, the week, the month, and just taking this tiny space of time. And feel this light moving down into the thighs and knees, into the calves, into the feet and out the toes. And as it flows out the toes, just visualize it burrowing deep into the earth, grounding you to earth. And allow yourself to feel comfortable, relaxed, secure in every way. As you continue to breathe, I'm going to count from 5 down to 0, feeling this relaxation increase with each and every count down. Beginning at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0, drifting deeper now, settling in, getting comfortable. And as you continue to enjoy this sense of relaxation, this comfort, this sense of being at ease, you'll allow yourself to travel back to a previous lifetime to gain greater understanding about yourself, a soul relationship, or perhaps an issue that's affecting you. Allow yourself to be completely at peace, knowing your mind is no longer limited by time and space. You'll be able to remember events, people, and places in vivid detail. Just allow those experiences to come forth without judgment, knowing and trusting your mind and soul to bring you exactly what you need today. Your subconscious mind knows if you'll be able to safely step inside the past life or if it would be more comfortable to observe from above or beside. And your mind will know best what to do. So just visualize or imagine yourself, just for now, in a glorious sunny garden, filled with trees, flowers, a bright blue sky above, a path leading into the distance, and bringing to life all of your senses. Smell any fragrances in the air. Use your sight to see any physical attributes of this place. Reach out and touch something in this field, this garden. Get a sense, get a feel of it. The sensation of the sun on your skin. And just get in touch emotionally with how it feels to be here. Listen to any sounds around you. And as you walk down the path that you've noticed, your soul energy gets a sense of knowing that it's moving into a past lifetime. Continuing on this path, the feeling gets stronger. Your sense of curiosity and intrigue gets stronger. And eventually you notice that just ahead, at the end of this path, the way is blocked by a beautiful giant mirror. Just notice everything you can about this mirror, what it looks like, how big it is. And as you travel closer, you can see your reflection in this mirror. And as you do this, notice your reflection begins to change and shift. And without judgment, allowing an image to form on the other side of this mirror as your reflection. That is now who you were in a past life. In a lifetime that's the most significant to you today to learn more about. And as you stare at this reflection, allowing it to form in whatever way that it will, without editing and without judgment, notice what you can about this new reflection. And if you'd like, you may decide to step through the mirror into the past life, knowing that no matter what you decide, you'll be surrounded at all times in the safety and security of this universal white light energy. So if you'd like to step through, allow yourself to do that now. And as you step through, the first thing I want you to do is look down at your feet. Without judgment, just become aware of what you notice, scanning up the body, what you notice about your clothing, if there is any, the color of your skin, the temperature outside or inside. Notice if you're male or female. Notice your age, if you can. If you can become aware of a name or anything else you notice about where you are, who's around you, what's happening. If you have any family, what your job is, where you are in the world. And just become aware of your surroundings, all that's going on. Anything that comes up that seems important to remember as if you were to tell it to a friend later. See how it feels to be here. And if there's any important message or lesson that needs to be taken back with you to your outer awake life, allow that to occur. Any events unfolding that you'd like to see more of. Allow anything that needs to happen in just the right timing. Before you allow these images to fade for now, coming back to the here and now, coming back to your present soul energy, allow any pain or negativity from this past life just lived and beyond to be released back into the universal white light where it can be resolved. And in a moment, I'll count from 0 to 5, and as you begin to come up and out, with each count, you'll bring back only the positive lessons, the important wisdom gained that will be of most value to you now in this current lifetime. You may remember or may feel the urge to write down any or all important wisdom gained. So beginning now at 0, drifting deeper and closing the door to the subconscious mind, coming up to 1, thanking your subconscious for bringing forth this experience today. The wisdom gained, coming up to 2, remembering the present moment where you've placed yourself, the room you're in, safe and secure in every way. 3, feeling an amazing sense of well-being, feeling very, very good and bringing back that connection to the universal energy. At 4, becoming more alert. And 5 is eyes open, wide awake, and alert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake, and alert. Nice deep breath. Welcome back. Hey, Kels.
Hey, that was fun. I actually feel like I got 2 downloads from 2 separate lifetimes.
That can happen.
And it was interesting because they were both like in desert type places. So I wonder if it was the same place, or I wonder if this was like, I wonder if this is like a parallel life. Because in the beginning, when I was getting relaxed, I was like basically this like Princess Jasmine type character. And I don't know if I was actually a princess or if I was just very rich. Like, I don't think I had any power over anyone, but I was living in this palace and everything was like shiny and gold. And I had like this long hair and I was very like young and like glowing and youthful. But around me was a lot of people suffering. Like in the same city as me, majority of people were suffering. And I was living like this very luxurious lifestyle. And I could tell that I was carrying a lot of guilt. And then when you asked me to look in the mirror, I transitioned from this like beautiful princess type person into an old lady who was like a beggar on the street. And I walked through into that lifetime and I was sitting on the street and people were walking by, like kicking dirt at me. I had like a cup in my hand trying to like get money from people. And I actually didn't judge anyone that was mean to me because I was a very wise, compassionate, older lady. And I was just like, I had a rough life, but I had accepted it. Like it was okay where I was. And it was just interesting because they were basically like polar opposite visions. But
I think, you know, it definitely illustrates the contrast of our soul's like thirst for knowledge. Like, okay, I want to see what it's like to be a princess. So I'm going to be a Kardashian. No, I'm just kidding.
I basically was like a Kardashian.
And now I want to see what it's like to be super poor and have nothing, because that's how we evolve, as we know the contrast and we get in touch with that. That is super fascinating. I had last time I did one of these quick ones, I was doing it with one of my instructors at the time. They were facilitating it, and I very quickly went to this like castle, what I could assume was a castle. It was very dimly lit with candles in the walls, and I was going up a spiral staircase, and I was like passing other people in my station, and they were men in like armor, or like, I don't know if it was like suits of armor or if it was just like, you know, padding or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it, but I was passing them, and I knew that in that moment I was a dude and I was like fighting for the monarch or whatever. I was like in his army or hers. I don't know if it was a boy or girl that was in charge. But, and then, okay, so in the next flash, I'm hanging people, like kicking the board from under them so that they hang. And I remember feeling the worst feeling I could ever imagine feeling. I can't even describe the sense of like deep regret as I'm doing it. I'm like, this is terrible. Like, I want to die. Like that kind of like, what am I doing kind of thing. And all I kept hearing in my head was, you're doing your duty. You're doing your duty. This is what you have to do. And so I knew that like, I wasn't okay with, which made me feel better. I'm not okay with doing this. I'm not a monster or anything. And then in the next flash, I just saw like horse hooves kicking me in the face. And I'm assuming either
that's probably how you died.
Yeah. And then that was it. So I think I either got kicked by my own horse. It was definitely my own horse. I either got kicked in the head by my own horse or I got trampled by my own horse. I don't know any other details beyond that. And that obviously wasn't the one just now. This was like years and years ago that I did just a quick flash of a life. And it was just like in that whole, like whatever, 3 minutes, I did the entire life. And it was just so palpable. It was like, I've never felt anything like that.
That's
I know.
Crazy.
I was like the executioner. It was terrible.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty to watch yourself do that. But you live and you learn, as they say. So that's very interesting. But yeah, we want to hear your guys' experiences just now in those couple minutes. Like, did you get any downloads? Did you have any visions? Were you able to see or access anything? And even if you do feel like you're making it up, because like we said before, it often does feel like that because the information comes in through your imagination, which oftentimes you do make up things in your imagination.
Well, and the other reason too is it's ridiculous when you think about it. It's absolutely ridiculous that you could, you know, your mind could be so powerful that it could remember who you were before. Even if you believe in reincarnation, you're probably still going to wonder if you're making it up because you've never experienced that before. That's a whole new thing. So your mind, your logic, and your reason, which is what we're using right now as we talk to each other, is going to work extra hard to make that okay, to make this ridiculous idea something that's not so ridiculous. And that's, oh, well, I just made it up. That's fine. But what if it's not ridiculous and you're just a freaking powerful wizard and you can do these things?
I think we're pretty powerful. I always watch Phil's Instagram stories and he reaffirms how powerful we are. And I'm just like, yes. And I like feel it in all my body.
You're
if you guys don't follow, you don't follow Phil Good on Instagram and YouTube, go follow him because he's really great. And he talks about being a wizard all the time. And we want to hear your guys' experiences that you just had in this couple minutes, if anything came to you. So share it with us on social media. I'm at Kelsey Aida pretty much everywhere. Lynnsey is at Lynnsey Robinson on Instagram, and she has a Facebook
Make sure
page.
you spell the name right, because even my best clients sometimes spell my name wrong. It's a hard
spell
name.
It for them.
Lynnnsey. So it's just like Lynn, like somebody named Lynn, but add an SEY to it. It's very, very simple when I think about it, but I've been living with it for 34 years. Also, I want to mention too, so follow us. We want to hear your experiences. Absolutely. This is
hashtag HighVibin It, so we can
hashtag
find
HighVibin It. No G on the HighVibin. It's HighVibin It. And if you didn't experience anything in this last 15 minutes or whatever, please don't worry about that, because I've never had to squish these are 3-hour sessions, guys. At least 90-minute sessions, because I need, as a facilitator, to give you time for your subconscious to get on board with this otherworldly, plane of existence, whatever it is, this altered state of consciousness that goes so deep that it can access your past memories. So it takes work and it takes time. If you were able to come up with something fantastic, please tell me about it. This is so fascinating for me and I can never get enough of it. And I will talk your ear off about some of this stuff. But if you didn't experience anything, but you want to, just let me know. I would be happy to walk you through one, and actually work very closely with you to help you figure some of this stuff out. So please don't worry if you didn't experience anything. It's not something that everyone can do right off the bat.
Yeah, and before we go into a little bit more about our stories that we didn't get into in the first half, tell everyone about your super special discount that you're offering to all the listeners here that are super HighVibin It VIP people.
Yeah, because you guys are so awesome. If you want to do a full-on past life regression, I do only Zoom. So these are all, it doesn't matter where in the world you are. We can still work together and do a pretty in-depth session. They're 90 minutes, which is, like I said, the minimum amount of time that I would require for this. Sometimes they go a little longer, but with the internet the way it is, I've learned how to squish it a really good session in that amount of time. So we can do a lot for you. And because you're listening to the show and we love you so much, you get $75 off your past life exploration session on my website. So go to lynnseyRobinson.com/shop and you'll see the past life exploration session there, and then put in the code HighVibe4. So that's HighVibe and then the number 4, and you'll get $75 off at checkout.
Yay. Yes. And is this link in our show description, or do we need to add it so people can find it? Okay, say it one more time for everyone, because you guys, $75 off is like a big deal. Basically, we're paying you $75 for just being here and being awesome and being you. So take advantage of it. Yeah, take advantage of it. Work with Lynnsey. It's so cool. I'm going to go into my experience here in a sec so you guys can kind of see what it's like, a testimonial from a real client of Lynnsey's. And yeah, the code is HighVibe4. So that's how you get the $75 off, and tell them the link one more time.
Yeah, lynnseyRobinson.com/shop. So SHOP. I already spelled my first name. I'm not going to do that again.
Great. And if you don't know how to spell it, look at all the pictures of us.
Just Google me. I'm everywhere, dude. It'd be hard to not find my name somewhere, I think.
You can find us.
Okay, tell us about your experience, because I can't wait to listen to it again.
Again, you're already there. So when I did this with Lynnsey, she was asking me what was going on, and I was kind of narrating what I was seeing as I was seeing it. So she was kind of experiencing alongside me as she was guiding me through the whole experience. And basically, in this lifetime, I was a woman. Again, I find that I'm almost always a woman in most of my lifetimes, even though I do know or feel that people reincarnate as different genders in different lifetimes, and people have preferences and stuff. So I was a woman, and this was in America, so it was kind of recently, and I was a lower middle class woman, and I was wearing a long dress, and I had kind of auburnish hair and pale skin, and I was with this abusive husband who would beat me because I was infertile or there was some sort of complication where I couldn't have kids, even though I really wanted them. And he just wanted them to like continue his name because he was like a selfish bastard, whatever. And basically he kind of like owned me, because that's how women were back in the day. You didn't really have a lot of rights or a lot of say. And yeah, it was just like a crazy lifetime where he was mean to me, and I had this job to get away from the house and to get away from him, where I was kind of like a nanny for this other family who was much richer than us. And so I would go to work there, and at my workplace there was this man who was like the garden keeper and basically like the slave of the home, and he would do all the chores for this family, and I was the caretaker. And we became best friends, and he would like hug me and just give me like actual love and be my friend and listen to everything that like happened to me. And I realized when Lynnsey guided me through this, kind of what we were talking about earlier, that this was somebody that I have dated in this lifetime. And we had a very strong connection, and it was very much a friendly and kind love. And I felt that same exact energy when I saw him as this African-American slave type character in this other lifetime. And yeah, it was just like so crazy. And then Lynnsey fast forwarded me into the future of that lifetime, and I was an old lady, and my husband finally died, like thank God. And I was alone, and I had all this money that I inherited from him, but like I wasn't able to have kids. So I was really sad about that. And I like died alone in my bed, and it was like all very traumatic. And so it explains a lot about this lifetime, where I really have this desire to have children, to have this beautiful romantic partnership with mutual respect and love and adoration and appreciation. And it was just cool to see that like this person that I'm talking about from this lifetime was also in that lifetime, and probably many, many more. And just how it's like, it's comforting to know that I'll probably see them again, maybe not in this lifetime, but in another one, just like how I saw them in that one and this one.
Yeah.
So,
we definitely don't have enough time to go into mine, but guys,
we're running out of time.
By me saying that, like, it's crazy, it's freaking crazy. I like to think I'm a pretty analytical person. I'm one of those people that's like, oh, I'm just making it up. I'm really logic based, and this threw me for a loop. So I think I'm going to put it in my group, in my Inspired Fempreneurs group. I think I'm going to make a video of it and put it in there. So Inspired Fempreneurs, it's on Facebook. Join the free group. I'm going to put it there. You have, oh my God, you have to listen to this. It's crazy. Maybe we'll just do it next week. I don't know, but I'm definitely going to put it in the group. Also, I wanted to mention, because we didn't mention those books that actually changed my whole life. And the reason that I got into past life regression, the author is Michael Newton, Michael Newton, Newton. He writes Journey of Souls and Destiny of Souls changed my life. I was 19 years old, and I've never been the same.
Journey of Souls is such a cool book because it goes into case studies where people remember their past lives. He facilitates them remembering, kind of like what Lynnsey does, but then they're also able to remember their lives between lives.
Yeah, so he's a life between life therapist.
Soul without a body, and it's legit. So read those books. We linked them in the description. And yeah, if you need a past life regression session, which I guess you might not need one, but if you want one because they're really, really cool, then definitely contact Lynnsey, use your coupon code, and work with her. And until next time, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
See you later.